So I finally got it in. I finally bit the bullet and went ahead and just tried it to see what it's like. So I went ahead and finally rented this beautiful camera. This is the Fuji X-T2. 24 megapixels, mirrorless, supposed to have an amazing autofocus. This little thing has, I've been researching this on the internet for a really long time, and I think it will fit as a great family camera. When I don't want to carry the Canon, I can slap on a smaller lens, smaller than the one we have here, but maybe a nice prime lens and get amazing pictures. In addition, for this channel, I'm currently shooting with the Canon 6D. Good full frame camera, but the problem is there is no autofocus. So if I do this, there is no camera tracking. I'm just out of focus. And to really have a lot more flexibility in my movement, I need a camera that has autofocus. In addition, it does do 4K. And it's smaller, and I can put a lens on it that makes it look less menacing, so I can go do some street photography. So it's kind of a nice small all-in-one package. I actually first heard about this camera, the X-T2, from a guy I met at a convention. We started talking about cameras. He showed me his Instagram. In fact, I'll find his Instagram and list it in the section below. But I started looking at his pictures, and I was like, what are you shooting with? These pictures are amazing and crisp. He said, yeah, I'm shooting with a Fuji X-T2. And what he said he liked about it was he shot Canon and felt like the images that he produced were just as good, and he didn't have to make as massive investment on the lenses, and the lenses were just as good. So researching the lens that's on here, I rented the 16 to 55 with on the crop sensor, it actually comes out to 24 to, I want to say, 84.6. So essentially it's the 24 to 70 variation, 2.8 continuous. And the big difference is for Canon, that lens, which is an amazing lens, is upwards of $1,700 or more. This lens is brand new, $899, so call it $900. If Siri don't shut up. Anyway, so I wanted to rent it to kind of get a feel for it, see some of the things I like, some of the things I dislike, and really decide if this was something that I would look at purchasing before the Canon 5D Mark IV. Looking forward to having fun with the X-T2. All right, be right back. Okay, here we are. We're going to test how we do vlogging. It was mentioned that the autofocus should be really good on this camera, so hopefully I'm in focus without having to look at the screen. Yes, baby. Looking for you. How's the tracking? Was it good? Let's do the baby test. So, baby, ready to go to school?
Yes.
You ready to go learn? Get a camera high five. All right, so we only had the camera for a couple of days, so I thought we'll come out to the Silver Comet Trail to see how it performs outside, dealing with nature. This is most likely the place where I'll be using it, so maybe we'll walk the trail. So let's have some fun. Because of the ease of using this camera, it's got me back into doing something I normally don't do anymore, and that's exploring. So when I first started taking pictures, I would find little nature reserves, find little trails, and just explore them to find things to take pictures of. I haven't done it in a very, very long time, but because I wanted to test the camera and it's a small package, easy to move with, I am exploring more. So I'm actually, oh my God, this is a trail to somebody's house. I think I might need to turn around. this actually goes right into somebody's yard. That's a little weird. I don't know if I want my house to have a path that went directly in my yard that anybody can come in. It's a little weird. All right, so we're back, and I was able to complete most of the testing I wanted to do, and all in all, I have to say that in general, I think that the Fuji X-T2 is an amazing camera. You don't see it in the frame with me right now because I had to take it back. I only had a 3-day rental, so we were able to have some fun over the weekend, but then I had to get it back to the store. So there's some great things, and there's some things that were not so great about the X-T2. So let's start with the bad. I noticed that over time, when using the screen on the back of the camera, it started losing sync, and it became very apparent where, you know, maybe a few tenths of a second off, it looked like the screen was hitching, and so it didn't keep up with my movements very well. That was a little disheartening. I mean, it wasn't consistent throughout the whole time, but it did happen enough for me to want to make mention of it. Well, honestly, that was about it. Well, yeah, that was about it. The only thing I didn't like is that sometimes the screen messed up. The things I do like is the pictures were great. I mean, the color composition. So I don't know if it was the lens or the body, but that combination of the X-T2 and that 16 to 55 millimeter lens, amazing. If I did pick up the Fuji, that would be the package I want to get. One of the things that drew me to the Fuji is how it processes JPEGs in camera, and I completely was not disappointed. When taking some of the pictures of my family, even in some low light situations, the pictures, the JPEGs that it produced were beautiful. I haven't had a chance to edit the raw files yet. I still need to see if I need to convert them to a DNG and something else, or if I can read it directly into Lightroom. One of the other things I really did enjoy about the X-T2 was the video. Just having an autofocus. Right now I'm shooting on a Canon 6D, no autofocus, so I can't move too much, but having a camera that did autofocus was amazing. The picture was also very, very beautiful. And that brings me to one thing that happened while I was testing. Fuji comes out with the X-H1. Oh no. So all the wonderful things that I liked about the X-T2, and they fixed one of the things that a lot of the internet's complaining about. So to me, one downside to the X-T2 is that the grip is very, very shallow. And I'm very used to using nice deep grips. And I was already thinking that if I get the X-T2, I'd have to buy the battery grip to make the grip a little thicker so it's easier to hold. And lo and behold, they take the X-T2, they add some somewhat better video functionality, keep all of the core for photography, and put it out with a bigger grip. I did some comparison online, and the X-H1 is still going to be a smaller camera than what I'm using now. So I'm using the Canon 6D with a battery grip. Even if I get the X-H1 with a battery grip, it's still going to be slightly thinner, which means it's still a lighter package altogether. And although I would like the flip out screen, it does have a tilting screen. And I noticed that I was able to get some really, really low angle perspective level shots of my daughter, which looked beautiful because they were at her eye level. And that's something that I wouldn't easily be able to do with a Canon. You get the X-T2 because the price is going to drop drastically. Cheap Brian says do that. Do you get the X-H1 and deal with the multiple firmware updates that will undoubtedly come out over the next 6 to 7 months, but it solves the dual purpose. It still has all the great photography functionality that I'm looking for, and it adds a level of a lot of video components that I also would like to explore in the future. So here's the downside to that. I would need to also buy that 16 to 55 mm lens. So Earlier, I said it was $800. It's actually $1,100. Still drastically cheaper than the Canon 24 to 70. But now you're talking about $1,900 for the camera body for the H1, another $1,200 for that lens. So that brings us to about, you know, just under around 3,000. I think you can get a package deal where I think B&H may have it for, around 2,900. So if I'm at 2,900, I can go to KH and get the Canon 5D Mark IV. Canon 5D Mark IV, which if I want to continue and start drifting and take on more weddings, that puts me even in a better position, because then I have the 6D as the backup camera, the 5D as the primary camera. I can use the 5D for these YouTube videos. I'm not sure if the 5D has in-body stabilization. I'm going to assume it doesn't, because Canon normally likes to put cool features like that in their center cameras and not put them in their consumer DSLRs for some reason, although everybody else is doing it, which is another benefit of the XH1. Has in-body stabilization. So I don't know what to get. I mean, give me your comments. You let me know. If I want to do weddings, could I get away with having the XH1 as my near field camera? Get something really fast like that 2.8 glass and see how well I can push it around, 1600 ISO? Or do I get the Canon 5D Mark IV? I already have a good amount of lenses to put on it. We'll go through some of the lenses I have later, but I have a few lenses I can put on that camera. I have enough to be able to put an L lens on the 6D and the 5D. Now I have both cameras. I'm ready to shoot. So I don't know. It's a dilemma. Now, for family vacations, personal travel, all of that, the H1 is definitely a better choice because it's smaller, it's more discreet. I have a couple of pancake lenses for Fuji. I already have 2 Fuji lenses that I could put on it now. One of them was a pancake lens that's a 24 millimeter. It would almost make it, super thin. And I have a Zeiss lens that I've had forever that could also use on it. So it's kind of a dilemma. I don't know what to do. I really don't. If you have any help, please leave comments. Let me know. What should I get? Should I go for the cheapest option of getting the X-T2? I tried it out. I like it. Does some of the video things I want. Doesn't have in-body stabilization. Doesn't have some other small things on the video side. But if I want those video attributes, then I need to go up to the H1. Get the XH1, hold on to that for a while, enjoy that functionality. Or do I buy a used 5D Mark IV? That puts me into kind of the pro amateur standard, or more of a standard camera that everybody uses. I know it's going to work. I love the images the 6D puts out. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments. Either way, hopefully within the next 5 months, I'll probably get another camera. And as soon as I get it, I'll be showing you.